GDANSK, Poland. Devin Clark had 2 months to shrink his body to middleweight size after 3 years as a professional light heavyweight. Despite the 20-pound gap to close, Clark wasn't about to shun the task. After he won the LFA title at 205 pounds, UFC president Dana White had offered him a chance to fight in the octagon at UFC Fight Night 91. The new weight division offered Clark a foot in the door, but as it turned out, it started him off on the wrong foot. Less than 5 minutes into his debut, he was knocked out by Alex Nicholson. Clark, 81 MMA, 21 UFC, moved back to his traditional division in his next fight, and he's now won 2 straight. On Saturday at UFC Fight Night 118, he faces Polish veteran Jan Blachowicz, 197 MMA, 24 UFC, a former KSW champ whose UFC career is on the rocks. Unless big money or a belt is on the table, Clark has no intention of returning to 185 pounds. Between the extra weight and work with top-tier training partners, he said his game has improved by leaps and bounds. Being at Jackson Winklejohn longer, Clark told MeJunkie, "This is my 4th camp, working with John Jones a lot, but also everybody else at Jackson Wink. Coming from South Dakota, where I didn't have much training, that's a huge change in my progression." Now that Clark is trending up, the UFC's offer puts him across from a fighter who's likely fighting to save his job. Blachowicz, who entered the UFC as a 173 powerhouse in the European MMA scene, is now 14 in his past 4 outings. Most recently, he suffered a majority decision loss to Patrick Cummins, who managed to outstrike him using the threat of wrestling. Clark is on Blachowicz's turf as he tries to reverse his fortune. It's not a job favorable to a fighter trying to build his brand. But then again, it could win him big points with the UFC if he's able to upset the hometown favorite. He's a tough dude. Nobody's finished him in the UFC, and he's fought some really good opponents, Clark said of Blachowicz. So obviously, I have to fight smart. But I know I can finish him if I want to. I know what I can do, and I know what he can do, and I know at the end of the day, I can come out on top. For more on UFC Fight Night 118, check out the UFC Rumors section of the site.